hours on the back. Okay, take it off the patient first.
No. This was right after surgery. So there's a bar, so you can maybe like go.
It was easier. I hate that one. I hate that one.
You like this one?
No.
This one though.
Ah, I like her. I like her now. I mean, I hated this one, I hated that one. I only like
That
one
one's so
last year.
friendly.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't like it.
That one's
It's
like.
so nice.
It's so nice. It's like the Servo U, but like taller and better.
So she had this special table.
I don't know. I never had this for my check off.
Her favorite thing, you know, ball pit.
I don't know. I like it now. I used it at Methodists. And
It took me a while to learn how to like set it up.
Yeah.
It was like Matt, it was like, this is what you do. You put a patient and then you put a patient.
Huh? We'll see. Okay, so new
New
patient.
yeah.
Just confirm. No one. We don't really use these.
Do we have to do that or like?
They'll probably give you a height and weight and you put it in.
But it's better for you to calculate your IBW because that's what they're testing you for.
Right.
Because that's like cheating. Like on the PB where you can put in the IBW on the side, you still need to know how to calculate it. So don't rely on the machine to do the math for you. You're tested on if you know how to do it yourself.
Okay.
So first you'll do circuit setup. I don't have an HME. So next that. Next is system check. Attach the circuit to the vent, occlude the Y, and select start.
Is the filter on the right side or is it on?
This, yes. So this is always going to be here because you cannot connect your inspiratory limb into that hole.
Oh.
So I can take it out and show y'all real quick too. I'll just stop the check. If I was to take this out, there's no way to connect in there.
Oh.
So you have to have this to connect. And then same with these flow sensors here. You take that off, take that out. These are also single patient, single patient. Ta-da. I know. System check. You can click this eye here and it'll go step by step so you can see what's missing or what you need to redo or check for. Make sure you're looking for leaks on your circuit too. If one of these is off, you'll fail your check off, or not your check off, but you know, your system check.
You fail your check.
Boom, because of a leak? No, but I set one of these up on a patient and it kept failing the system check. So you just have to follow your tubing and see
That would.
where it's
That
at.
was aggressive. Stokes
I'm kind of scared.
He said, we're talking about the leak failure, like a joke, right?
Spending 20, 30 minutes on your freeze check will
Yeah.
stop that.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's when you fail. Or like not
Yeah.
knowing where the power button is or how to connect it correctly, you know. Those.
Like you don't even get to start. You're just like that.
You're done before you start.
Just get out.
Oh, that's depressing.
Do you know if you get
Wait again for all that.
Okay. G-E-G-E-G-E.
Are you gonna be right after we're done?
Yeah, probably. Maybe.
Do you guys have PFT today or no?
No.
Oh, good.
She's on vacation.
I was gonna say
Oh, yeah, her, Ramirez, Wetstein, all of them.
Wetstein's on
or should we just do
vacation.
that?
I think so, yeah. Because he emailed me and I got an auto response saying he's out of town. I think, yeah, he's out of town, so everything that y'all have to email for Wetstein, Ramirez, Carrion, you have to go through
Stokes
Stokes.
is holding you down.
Stokes is a department right now,
Yeah.
and he's big
There you go.
department.
We should finish before we start going over.
I guess it makes sense because he's not really teaching.
Yeah, he's just in clinic,
Yeah.
but still, he's here, you know, holding
Like
down the fort
he has,
the most.
he hasn't really done too much, but everyone else is like burnt out.
But he also does
So-
too much sometimes.
Yeah.
Like the 12-hour day and this nonsense. I don't know. I'm always like, justice for Stokes. One day, this will finish. Everything passed. All right. Now we're gonna put in whatever we want here. I usually start on AC/VC just because it's the simplest mode. It's the easiest to start off with, and you can monitor your patient's pressures if they're on this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. Start ventilation, then connect to patient. So, on this vent, if I'm just gonna go through like the main stuff on the screen, and then we'll go through like the special things on this vent, because everything else is the same. Your modes are always gonna work the same way, okay? So, if you want loops, click this right here, you'll see your loop here. You can change this into a loop 2 over here. So we'll do breath timing, we'll do flow volume. I'll leave it like that. So you've got pressure volume and flow volume loop here. It's just going to be your 4th button. This isn't going to change around too much, so I guess if you want to memorize it, you can. But usually it's on the middle one for your normal waveforms. If you click this on this side, it'll give you a little bit of an interactive view to see where their peak pressure is, their P max, which is their high pressure limit. Not too
And on
bad.
this one, P max is high pressure alarm?
Yes.
Okay.
Limit. Okay, limit, max. Yes. I always have to like remember which one I'm talking about. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's confusing. All right. Yes. So on your modes here, you'll see assist control checkbox, leak compensation, and trigger compensation. If you turn this assist control off, it'll make it asynchronous with the patient, locking them out, not really giving them a good time on the vent, so make sure it's checked. And then leak compensation will give you, I think, 25% tidal volume extra based on a leak through the circuit to the patient, and 100% for neonates and peds if it's turned on. In case of a leak, it also prevents auto triggering because of a leak. And trigger compensation will also help adjust that auto
Prevent auto
triggering.
triggering.
Yeah.
Because of a leak, right? From a leak?
That's more so for leak compensation, but I think it also ties in with the trigger compensation.
Okay.
So just make sure these are all checked. Make sure they're not unchecked. Let's see, volume. Volume is volume, pressure is pressure. PRVC on here. Oh, click this over here if you want to see all the other modes. Here's your mains. This one is only special in that it's got a bi-level and an APRV. Everything else is about the same. You also have SVT and non-invasive on this vent as well. But all your other modes are about the same. So, I don't know if you want me to click through them all and see it for the first time. Hopefully not. I don't know.
I had a question. For bias flow, like what is it, is there like a set number that's typically best to set it at?
Kind of like on the Avia where it needs to be,
Yeah, cause
flow
like,
needs to be higher than whatever.
cause I get it, like if bias flow is set higher than your flow trigger, then your flow trigger is set on, but like, does it matter the difference, like the bias flow, or how high you have that, or low?
You can set it equal to or a little bit above.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just the extra flow going through the circuit, replenishing the circuit. And it also helps with that auto trigger stuff. So I usually just set it higher. But that bias is greater than flow over flow. I don't know what the relationship is for the Avia, but that's more so on the Avia because it'll give you bias flow insufficient for flow trigger to be active. On this one, it doesn't give you a message or anything. We just keep it higher just so it keeps replenishing the circuit.
How much higher?
You can do a little bit, just like 0.5 higher,
Okay.
or up to 1 or 2.
Okay.
There's not like a set that they tell us.
Okay. So like if you were to set it like the flow to 1, you would just put the bias flow to 1.5?
Yeah,
Right.
1.5 or 2, yeah. And then ACPC is ACPC. You've got rise time on here, which is how fast to your PIP. You've got your PMAX safety here. If you forget, so here it is at 40. If you go to your alarms, it's also 40 here for your high pressure alarm. So if you don't remember what PMAX is on this vent, open up your alarms. You'll see they match. Because if I change it down here, it'll change up here too.
Okay.
So this is your pressure alarm, high pressure alarm. It's a way to cheat, I guess.
And T-ins, that one is that the same thing as T-pause?
T-insp is your eye time.
Or your eye time, sorry.
What did you ask?
T-ins, it's eye time.
T-insp is eye time, P-insp is your PIP. And then you got PEEP. Slip this down. Solid 21.
Yeah.
And then P-ins is delta P, right?
Hmm?
Oh, P-ins is delta P.
P-insp is just your PIP.
That one's your PIP, okay.
But then over here you'll see it at 15 because it's adding on top of PEEP.
Okay.
How do you stop auto trigger on this one? Because I'm confused, like if I'm supposed to touch the bias flow, if I'm supposed to touch the flow trigger.
So then
I would
that means
do
that is
flow.
You just turn it above your bias
That's
flow?
okay.
So I would go up on the bias and the inspiratory trigger, wait for it to stop auto triggering, then slowly come down. Because I think last time one of these, I don't know if there's two of them here. There was one that was auto triggering. I brought it up to like 8 and I slowly came back down on it to stop auto triggering. But you adjust the same time. So if you go up on this by 1, go up on the other one by 1.
So you never put the trigger above the bias flow?
Right.
No, because then it's pressure trigger.
There's also a pressure trigger on here. You can't just adjust it. So it's always going to be your inspiratory trigger by default. Right here, your triggers. You've got flow and bias. That's more of a thing also on your the AVF.
Do you know the difference between the APRV
And bi-level?
bi-level on this one?
Yes, so APRV is just like regular APRV. Bi-level you can add pressure support and you have a set rate, I think.
You do the bleed through for the bi-level.
For your pressure support. Right here. So you do bleed through pressure support. You can also set a backup rate. Whereas on APRV, it's just like regular APRV. So you'll set your inspiratory pressure because it's PC APRV, right? You'll set your PEEP or P-low. You've got I time, E time, or T high or T low. So it's just a name game. I keep saying that every time because it's just the naming that changes per vent. But APRV is going to work the same way on here as it does on another vent.
It's my PEEP and then
Plus PSV?
plus PSV.
Okay. Because every time they say that, my mind is like, no.
Doesn't want to register it. I'm like, that's
And that's on bi-level.
So they don't give you like a desired PSV for that. Like if you're doing like, for example, bi-level, if they were to calculate for bleed through, what do you do? Or do you just ask them for it?
Well, in the real world, start them at like 8, 7-ish. But you can do that delta P plus desired. So if they don't give you desired, make your desired like 7. 7's a good number to start with, and if they need more, you can add more and take away. But usually it's your P high minus your P low plus your desired to get your PEEP or pressure support here.
Okay.
Usually I just ask like, what do you want for pressure support, and then I'll just do the math.
Okay. Because I know like they didn't give it to us last time.
Why not? Why are they changing it?
Or like if you don't calculate it, like if you were on the APRV and they don't give it to you, would you still set it to like set around 7 or so?
For pressure support?
Yeah.
On only on bi-level though, because APRV won't have.
Oh, it doesn't have that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
APRV does not have a rate or pressure support. Bi-level does. And then of course anything that has pressure support also has PS rise time, which is how fast you get the PIP on the pressure supported breaths. Ooh, beeping. Over there. What happened here?
I got it.
You're gonna hear that a lot if you're here studying for vent checkoffs. There's like a reset or mute button on there.
For what?
For what event?
On this, it's not on the vent, it's on the wall.
Oh,
So I guess get familiar with it.
okay.
Not part of the checkoff, Just something to help your ears during practice. Okay. Modes on here. It's just gonna keep going on. We have too many vents connected. Can you unplug that vent over there from the air and the oxygen? Just turn it off. Yeah.
Yes. No, is it ventilating?
No, it's
If
on
it's not ventilating,
standby.
it's fine.
We've got,
Is it ventilating?
yeah.
Can you stop it for just a second? Just let the compressor build up some air. If you're ventilating, just stop for a second.
We have zero funding here. Okay, so I guess while we're on this screen, park circuit, you can have a patient connected to it and park the
Oh, I
circuit.
didn't even see that.
You don't do it when the patient's on. Typically, if you take them off and you still have their circuit connected and you put a glove over it, you can park it because it thinks there's a patient on it when there's not. It'll just stop alarming, saying, hey, patient connected, what are you doing?
Oh, okay.
So if I unpark it, it'll give you a message up here. Patient detected, so we just park it. And it lets it stay like this. I guess we work. I don't know. We don't need it moving. This one also has a neat SBT mode built in. Normally we just do CPAP in clinic.
Thank you.
So normally we do CPAP PS, like 10 over 5 for an SBT, but this vent actually has a SBT mode built in, which is nice because you want to be on the mode they were on before you turn them on SBT mode, so make sure they're on a control mode beforehand. If you were on AC/VC first, then you want to go to SBT because then it'll automatically kick back into that mode. So you've got FiO2 setting on here, pressure support you want to give them. We usually do like 10 to start with, 10 over 5. Inspiratory trigger is going to be that flow trigger. Expiratory trigger is how you end that spontaneous breath.
Alright, so we're
Bias
back
flow.
up.
Huh?
You can ventilate, we're back up.
Okay. I mean, we're just going through modes, so I don't think
Oh,
I really
okay.
need it. Bias flow, bias flow. PS rise time, how fast to PIP on those pressure supported breaths. And then PMAX is your safety pressure alarm. On here, this is your main stuff with the SBT mode. You've got stop criteria. So you'll set a low respiratory rate and a high respiratory rate. Same with minute ventilation, and your apnea time should be 20 seconds. You can also put how long you want them to run on the SBT. So typically we do like an hour. But if they are kind of on the edge of doing an SBT and we're not sure if they're going to pass or not, do like 30 minutes, test it out. But you can adjust how long, I think it goes up to like 12 hours. So you can do like 15 minutes up to 12 hours. If any of these stop criteria are met, it'll revert to the previous mode you were on before you started SBT mode. So make sure that they're on some sort of control mode beforehand, because if you start them on CPAP, then you go to SBT, they go apneic. You still have apnea settings, but it's better for you to go to a reversed control mode, like PRVC or AC, VC, or PC.
We're running out of air.
So, stop criteria
It's
is
just
the
a
most
compressor.
important part on this.
Yeah, there's nothing we can do about it. Okay.
Do you have like a certain, for expiratory trigger, that one, is there like a percent that you usually typically put it on?
I don't have that right off the bat of my head, but let me check.
Okay. But it's the same as like the cycle percent off.
Yeah, or like eSense, or yeah, eSense. What else? And cycle off. Those things. Same thing. It's just how you end your spontaneous breath. So I guess if you want gas trapping, you can set it higher, but this is not a mode where you're trying to gas trap because you're trying to get them to come off the vent.
Right.
So I don't have a number for that. I don't think they expect you to know a number. I would just go with the default, maybe 25.
Okay.
And if they are taking bigger breaths and they seem to be a little more desynchronous, you can either adjust the trigger or the expiratory trigger. Like the inspiratory to start the breath or expiratory to end the breath. Just to their comfort. SIMV is SIMV. Here it'll tell you the previous mode you were on before you switch. Lighting support, yeah. Non-invasive, you don't have to know. Like CPAP, but through your nose. I don't have that much on this one.
Sharing is caring temperature.
Let's see what we got on alarms. So this one's got a lot more alarms compared to your normal vents.
Oh yeah, it does.
You'll have your peak pressure alarm, so you'll set a high and a low. Normally no one sets the low, but high peak pressure is going to be 10 to 15 above like normal. Minute ventilation is going to be the same as usual. Tidal volume exhale is going to be 1 to 250 above and below. Respiratory rate, your high is going to be like 25 to 30, and then low you can do like 10, because 12 to 20 is your normal range.
Yeah.
End tidal is not going to be on because we don't have that module, but you're never going to use that anyway. FiO2, no one really uses that either. We just turn it on. That's not one to know.
And this one already says
And
you're done.
then I think that's it on that. You can also do auto limits. It'll set it for you, but they're not going to let you do that for your checkoff. So just know how to set it.
What did you say for the minimum PIP?
Minimum PIP, well, if they're getting like 15 and suddenly the circuit disconnects or something, maybe do like 10.
Okay.
But really, a PIP of 10 is fine because you don't want them to have higher PIPs anyway. So we don't really ever set that. It's not something that they expect you to know, I would say. But it could just be like your low disconnect alarm, so maybe like 3. So if they get to 3, it means that something came off of the circuit, so it alerts you to go back and check the patient. It'll also tell you patient disconnected on top too. Your volume.
And your inspiratory and expiratory hold are on the top.
Yes, you can put 4 things up here. Let me just start it. And then we'll go to menu. So if you go to menu and then procedures, you can do a manual breath here. You can also just do, I think we can put it up here too, yeah, manual breath up here. If you need to suction them, you can put suction button up here too. You can do a maximum of 4 favorites. Suction up there too.
And right there, like whenever you do the inspiratory expiratory hold, you don't have to go anywhere. Like it'll tell you the values already right there.
Yeah, so when I click it on the shortcut, there's going to be a little play button here. You can adjust the time that you want them to do it, and then just hit play and it'll do it.
Okay.
And then it gives you the value up here too.
So you do like 4 or 5 typically seconds?
Yeah, like 3, usually default. 3 to 5, I would say. Here the plateau is 13, and it gives you static compliance as well, so you don't really have to do any math. It's
Cool.
nice. At Methodist, they usually like these plateau numbers during rounds. So during your first vent check, you'll do an inspiratory hold, give them that number, and then you can see if you need a prone or a wean or anything like that. So I'll leave these shortcuts up here just because it's easier to access, but if you need to know where to find them, you go to menu, procedures, and then you can also do it here too. If I just hit play there, it'll do a expiratory hold for auto peak. And then your number should come up here too. But it won't. And let's see, lung mechanics, you can get your PO.1 here, your NIF and vital capacity. Just hit play, and it'll give you a number there. It's a machine. It's not going to have any work of breathing. If I hit it, and then maybe it's 7. So
Occlusion pressure.
it's the same one from the Draeger, that occlusion pressure in 100 milliseconds.
So that's a positive number.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yes.
Okay.
So you said you wanted around -1, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So higher in the positive or negative aspect. It's not going to do a NIF, it's a machine. And vital capacity, if it was breathing on its own, it'll measure that too. You can do nebs here too. This vent is nice. I don't know if you guys have seen the Aerogen in clinic yet, but you can actually power an Aerogen with this machine. It's made for it. And you'll put it in on your dry side here and hook it up closer to the patient. Aerogen, hit play, it'll run the neb for you. And then you can do suction here too. Just hit play. It'll give you time, let you suction, give you more oxygen.
So would you have to connect it to that?
For,
The humidifier?
yeah, so anytime you have a check off, they want you to connect it correctly.
How would you connect it?
You take
So
off the
you'll do
inventory,
right here.
Yeah.
There's gonna be that shorter Bluetooth.
Okay, that's why. I was like, that does not look like it'll fit. Okay, I gotcha.
We're just gonna do it
Yeah,
for good
perfect.
measure. Get into practice of setting up the humidifier. Even during your check, it'll say set it up without it, but just
Yeah.
reconnect after. You'll do one side here, one side.
Ah,
Ta-da.
and then do you actually
And then
plug
you-
it in?
Yeah, you plug in like the little blue part, right? Only
Yeah,
on, like,
so
the
this
heated
circuit
wire.
is different. There's gonna be 2 cords missing here that you actually connect, but this heated wire circuit is not made for this humidifier.
Oh, okay.
So there's usually little holes on the back that you'll connect the things that are plugged in here to go here.
Oh,
And then, so this is incompatible with this here.
okay.
But we have the parts, it's just really.
Oh,
Like when
okay.
we
Gotcha.
connect it, are they gonna expect us to like actually turn it on, plug it up and everything? No, just like know how to like set up the
Yeah.
circuit? Okay.
I would say no, just this part and this part, that's it. Because
Okay.
you actually need a water bag for this one and
Okay, great.
it's gonna be a lot. Yeah.
I just don't know how much they expect from me, because I didn't have a humidifier on
Yeah.
my last check.
Yeah. So I would just go with this circuit. I would go with the vent.
Okay.
No water. Don't worry about actually breaking it. But you know, when you get to clinic and you have the opportunity to see a vent and you need to change the water, like volunteer, hey, let's do it, and then you can figure it out.
Right.
Just make sure you're always clamping the cords, because if you clamp in the wrong order, you're gonna have a leak. And what I do is I keep that package under, so if there's a leak, it's all contained.
Oh, yeah, I think Sarah's.
Hi, y'all, with Sarah.
Yeah, she's so sweet.
Yeah,
She's awesome.
yeah. She's my first preceptor. Eva.
Oh, ours.
Yeah. She's a PRN at my job, so I'm waiting to see her over there.
Oh,
someday.
she did say she had like 3 jobs.
Yeah. Same, sis. Trying to see what else there is. Ins pause on here. We don't set because we're not in Europe. Yep, word for word from Mr. PowerPoint.
Working back to back, like this whole week.
This is where you'll see your Pmax and Pmin on PRVC. Those are going to be your holds for higher and lower based on changes in compliance. So if they get better and better and better, you're going to get to Pmin. Pmin is a lower safety level, so if you're getting so good and you don't need as much pressure, it'll go so low to almost peak.
Yeah.
And you don't want that to happen. So I usually set it to above peak.
Is it only available on the PRVC?
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because they're going to be changing based on their compliance. And so if they're becoming more and more compliant, they won't need as much help from the vent. Their inspiratory pressure will decrease so much, and you don't want it to go below peak. So I have a set peak of 5. I'm going to set it like 2 above, just so they never reach peak, because at that point they don't need a vent.
Shouldn't we also see P limit here?
I was gonna ask that.
P limit.
Because it's in goes with the P min.
P min, P limit. So this one's
Right.
actually got P max, but I think it should be here too.
There should be.
I don't know
a
if it's like
P-
in a different mode or if it's just like.
No, I
they're
think
general.
they apply to PRVC.
Right, I thought so
They-
too.
Maybe this vent just.
See you, girl. Go get breakfast. Bye.
Enjoy your breakfast.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.
Because in his review, he has them together. He has P min, P max, and P limit.
Under PRVC.
It just has special alarm settings on R860 vent.
Okay.
Oh, my ear.
It'll stop because I just paused it. But there's a reset button where
Good morning.
Oh, I gave you a little coffee. I'm ready.
So on the left panel over there, there's a
No.
It's gonna be because we're using air, there's something wrong with the compressor.
That one doesn't.
I guess use it, but I'm gonna put mine on standby because we're just going back. Make sure it's 21%, but that's only gonna take.
I'll have to remember. I guess my thing is just like what to set everything at.
Yeah.
Some of them I remember, some of them like.
I already feel more prepared than I did for last year.
Oh, 100%.
Good. Let's see. I have P-Min and P-Max on here. Let's see.
Same time tomorrow?
Girl, I got a job tomorrow. I'm working tomorrow and Friday and Sunday and Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. Oh my god.
So you're playing today?
Yeah.
We got 2 games because we're gonna
My
win
other
the
job
first.
starts
Aw.
Are y'all the middlers versus? Are y'all the middlers?
Yeah. You know,
I'm
that-
angry at myself
Oh,
for
really?
overcommitting.
I can't play. I just got my.
Everything else is
Are y'all
kind
gonna
of
show
like
up?
just regular settings on
No,
your
so
checklist
you know
for
what
this
happened?
event.
So he emailed me the
knowing
schedule.
plateau.
And then after the schedule, he sent me another. The schedule said we play at 6:30 or 6:20, something like that. And he sent me another email. He said, "Okay, I'll play at 6." I said, "Yes, we can play at 6." But he never said yes or no. And he never sent another schedule, right? So we showed up at 6:20 because that's the schedule that was provided. And apparently he sent the people, like Keith and Leslie, the new schedule. He didn't send it to us. So we didn't even know. So when you ask me, hey, can you meet me over here at 7? I tell you yes. That doesn't mean we're meeting at 7. Right? Like you still have to tell me.
confirmation.
Yeah, you still have to tell me yes, that works out. Okay, let's do it then, right? Because if you're asking me a question, yes, answering you yes or no doesn't mean that it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But I don't know where you guys are from. That's exactly how it happened.
So you're not gonna be there tonight?
I can't do it. I just got my
I'm not even joking, like, it's like the-
I'm kidding me right now.
I guess the
display
of it is like a washer.
My
It's
dad's
like my washer.
and like it's just like there's a big ass hole in there.
I can control that shit from my
It's like a hole in the side of my
But let me
nail
tell
doesn't
you,
grow like this. It grows like
I got for 8,000 aspects of it, or I mean, just because
so it's like
they be seriously
down because it's
scratching
grown.
it, they so great.
Yeah.
So there's like 2 holes.
Then it, that they can't stop.
So I'm like fuck on a bed.
So you go there and you buy
Oh
that.
my
I
god.
can barely walk.
Right? So $1,000 for
No,
that's
Plus I'm fasting and then we break our fast at 8.
I know. Oh yeah, there's a couple guys on our team
Yeah.
that
So I'm
fast.
like,
Yeah.
you want me to play at 8:30 and hang out with this?
I know.
You're like,
I can tell.
Yeah.
I can tell he was low energy.
Yeah, it's like you
I was
smoke
like-
out because once you eat, like your sugar goes up, right? So you get like a sugar spike, and then like,
Yeah, no.
you're like, what the fuck?
He I could see it. He was like,
That's why.
I'm like, damn, how are you playing and you
I
haven't
had
eaten?
LEDs at home and we just went on the laundry machine. It sounds like an ice cream truck.
You want me to stop your?